Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Project Zomboid. Hope you've all had a really good Christmas so far, or at least enjoying the holidays. Today we're going to be taking a look at all of the towns in Project Zomboid, plus the new ones added in Build 42. We're going to be ranking them from must visit down to pit stop. Before I get into it, just want to preface a few things. So there's a lot of knowledge that's not public. I'm not a modder, I'm not a dev for the game, so there's a lot of values and things that I don't have. So if in the future and something comes out that's horribly wrong, I do apologize. So the criteria for this tier list is things such as risk reward, zombie population, the location of the town, how far it is out the way, things like that. The services there, base potential. And I do want to say that I think everywhere is really well handcrafted and all of the towns are decent in one way or another. And you should visit all of them. Take this more of a list of just, if you could only pick a certain few, then this is kind of how my list would look at least. And always remember, this list is just a bit of fun. Starting off our list is Muldraugh. And for me, and I think for a lot of people, considering that it was at the top of the list, and I think it still is in Build 42, Muldraugh holds a special place in a lot of our hearts because it was our first place we'd survived in. It definitely isn't the easiest starting town that you can spawn in. I think it's good for new players who are trying to push themselves, but it's also great for players of all skill levels. I just think if you're playing the game for the first time, or it's your first, let's say 10 hours, starting in Muldraugh can be a bit overwhelming. The Z spawns can get quite high, especially compared to some other towns that you can spawn in. But yeah, there's a good spread of loot spots around the town. You've got the police station, you've got the pharmacy, there's a couple petrol stations. It's in a really good spot as well. It's quite central. You're not too far from a route straight up to Louisville, while also being close to towns like Rosewood. So it's in a good spot as well. So for me, Muldraugh, quite an easy to great place to visit. Great place to start in as well. All right, moving on. These are in no particular order, by the way. This is just, I'm just going through my notes, what I wrote about every town. So there's no cohesion to these towns that I'm throwing up right now. Next up, we have Louisville. Not much to be said about Louisville. Everyone knows it is the high risk, high reward major city on the map. Louisville just has ridiculous untapped potential that even players such as myself who have hundreds of hours in the game have barely touched. I have visited it many times, but have I got the full potential of the city? Absolutely not. There's no shortage of things to do or see there. There's multiple pharmacies, there's multiple fire stations, multiple police stations, stores, everything you could think of, Louisville has it. And there's, I think, 5 different boroughs in Louisville, which kind of sort of specialize in different things. Some are more housing based, some are more industrial based, some are more commercial based, etc., etc. So there's a wide spread of stuff for you to do, depending on what things you're looking for. So Louisville clears as a must visit. I think every player should work towards getting a run going in Louisville. But yeah, it is a high risk, high reward. Definitely not newbie friendly. Also, you better hope your computer can handle it, because the amount of Z spawns will tank your game. All right, here we go. A new map here. Actually, no, we're not going to do the new maps yet. We're going to stick to the old ones first, then we'll do the new ones that come to Build 42. Fallas Lake. Now, I love Fallas Lake. It's very close to Riverside, which is a starting town, which we'll get to in a minute. It's a small town, but it offers a lot. The population is quite low. It feels like it's a lot. It's just a very small town, so the density of zombies is quite high, but the actual amount is quite low. It's quite a nice town to just liberate and reap the rewards of, because in Fallas Lake, you've got your police station, you've got a bookstore, you've got the outdoor garden center thing, which has all the gun cases in the back, loads of gun cases. You have the pharmacy, and this is all in this tiny little town. Did I mention the bar? There's a bar there as well, and housing estate and everything. There's a lot there. It's not too hard to give it, if you go there chock-a-block in a day, you can have most of the town liberated if you get busy. It's a lovely, and you got the petrol station as well, which I've made a base quite a few times. It's a quaint little town. It's lovely. I was going to put it in not bad, but honestly, we're going to bump it up to great place. Yeah, I think it's quite an underrated little place. I think back in Build 41, Fallas Lake wasn't named and we thought it was called Ekron, which is not the case. We will get onto Ekron later. But yeah, it's named. It's Fallas Lake. It has been in the game since Build 41. Great little town. A lot of potential. Small little place. Can't go wrong. All right, moving on to Irvington. I'm going to call it Irvington. The Z population is, it's pretty average, though I have seen it quite high in a lot of the hotspots. Got the pharmacy. There's a fire station. I think on the map it says it's a police station, but whenever I've been there, it's been a fire station. I don't know if that's a thing that changes. On the map it says it's a police station. I don't know if that's just a mistake on the devs' half, but maybe I'm tweaking. Don't get mad, I might be tweaking. I am recording this as it is Christmas Day. I found a free hour. I've had a bit to drink, so I might be tweaking there. But that's what I have in my notes. So Irvington, yeah, it's a little bit out the way. That is kind of a problem. It's way down the bottom of the map. You really do have to go out of your way to go there. And is there much point going? There's some cool POIs there. You know, you have a shooting range nearby, which has some good ammo and gun potential there. Yeah, I think Irvington is something you wouldn't be clamoring to go to early game. It's more of a mid to late game place you'd visit. I like Irvington. It's a sweet place. I'm putting it in not bad. You know, you do have to go out of your way to get there, but it's solid. Next is Brandenburg. So from my experience in Brandenburg, the Z population is quite high. Especially, I know I said it with Irvington that the hotspots brought the spawns, but it really brings the spawns here. I've also completely gone against what I was saying about the new towns later, but fuck it, we're doing them now. Yeah, so Brandenburg, it has some hotspots, especially at the top of town. You have the port, the yacht at the top of town, and then all of like the cafe restaurants that are near up there, the little park. I found the Z spawns up there to be ridiculously high, but you know, there is some fine POIs here. You know, you have a pharmacy, you have a police station. It's not super out the way. You know, it's just across from Riverside, which I quite like Riverside. I haven't got onto it yet, but we will in a minute. The yacht is a real cool base location that you can make, but again, it will be probably a more mid to late game place you'd visit, more mid game place you'd visit. I think Brandenburg is fine. I put it on par with Irvington. It just doesn't quite seem worth the hassle fully, but there definitely are some good things there if you do value them, such as the cool yacht spawn and some interesting POIs. Okay, next we have Echo Creek. Echo Creek is the new spawn location. It's a very small, dainty, very rural community, which is obviously been introduced with the whole animal husbandry update. It's meant to complement that. Yeah, it's great if you want to get some early doors animal husbandry going, but there's places all over the map that you can work on your animal husbandry. Echo Creek is not the be-all, end-all. Ekron, for one, as we'll come to talk about, has some neat little spots from what I've seen. But yeah, Echo Creek seems to be the new real newbie start if you want to play the game for the first time, be in as chill of a environment as possible as you learn the ropes. Echo Creek does seem to be that. The only problem is with the whole loot spawns being nerfed, having so little POIs straight off of spawn, because in Echo Creek, you have the petrol station / mechanic store, and that's about it. There's a shooting range nearby that you can venture out to, and there's also a wildlife center nearby, which I guess are fine, but you know, they're not directly in Echo Creek. It's a bit of a hard one to really gauge, because a new player is going to benefit quite a lot from Echo Creek, especially with how hard the game is now with muscle strain. I'm going to put it in not bad. I feel it's good for now, while everyone's learning the whole muscle strain mechanic and new players who are coming to Build 42. But Echo Creek might be one of those spawns that does really lose its value the more we play this build. But it's quaint, it's lovely, it's quite central in the map as well. It's quite close to a lot of other good towns, so we're going to put it at the top of not bad for now. Alright, moving on, we have Riverside. I understand Riverside probably isn't a lot of people's favourite spawns, but I have a big soft spot for Riverside, and this is where my bias is going to show through, because I'm going to put it in the bottom of great place. Riverside, it has a lot of interesting little POIs, especially nearby. There's storage lots nearby, there's the commercial strip, a lot of interesting stores in Riverside, there's the bougie community, and you have access to all of this in quite a chill environment, because Riverside's Z population is quite low. It's not super high. It's definitely not going to be as oppressive as, say, something like Muldraugh, but the lowered amount of POIs is there to kind of counter that. Riverside, it has got a police station, which is always good for some early firearm loot. I find Riverside also quite easy to navigate because everything's quite spread out. That also helps with the town not being very overwhelming. So yeah, I think Riverside is a really good newbie town, and I don't think you can go wrong with spawning there. But again, I understand some of my biases might be showing through a little bit there. I imagine other people would rank it a little lower, but okay. Next, we have Rosewood. I think most people saw this coming. People love Rosewood, and I love Rosewood too. It has some great POIs. It has the police station right next to the fire station, which are just two iconic bases that offer some brilliant loot. Rosewood's Z population, it's not super high. I'd say it's kind of on par with Riverside, maybe a little higher in places. It's very central. It's very central. It's in a good spot, offers some good POIs, good loot, beginner friendly, and you can spawn there. A lot of things going for it. That's why I think it's a must visit. You really can't go wrong spawning at Rosewood. Do I think it's, as easy as Echo Creek? No, probably not. But then again, you're getting much better loot at Rosewood than in Echo Creek. So do with that as you will. Okay, next we have West Point, which sadly is going to go in the pit stop category. West Point, with the new Romero spawns, the Z population has been distributed heavily. So on the left side of town, as you can see on the left side of town, there's basically no POIs there. And the zombie spawns are lower. They are much lower when you're in the housing estate area of West Point, which is fine. You can do some nice housing, looting, but as soon as you kind of move into the right side, that's when the Z population gets a lot denser. You do have the police station, but West Point has sort of been one of those ones that a lot of people don't really like spawning at, and I don't either. With the new Romero heat maps of zombie spawns, it might be a bit of a different story. West Point was great if you wanted an excuse to get to Louisville quite quick before the zombie population grew, because West Point is basically just right below Louisville. It's just a straight fire shot up. But yeah, West Point, if you're not planning on going to Louisville early doors, it kind of is just a pit stop on the way up to Louisville. It has the cute little fishing dock at the top of town, but I don't know, there's just not much to see. All right, moving on, we have... Oh, let me go back to Ekron. Hold on. Let me go back to Ekron before we move on any further. So, Ekron, it's also going in pit stop, probably at the bottom of pit stop until we talk about March Ridge. Yeah, there's not much to see in Ekron at all. It's very out of the way, but it is basically right in the middle between, if you're going from Brandenburg down to Irvington, you're probably going to pass Ekron, depending on which route you take. So it's a fine pit stop. It's a petrol station there. It's a fire station there. But yeah, the Z spawns were quite high, considering how little is there and how kind of small the town is. Yeah, I think this is kind of a mid-late game. Oh, just gonna have a potter about. I'll go visit Ekron, fuck it, sort of thing. I don't think it's one people are going to be clamoring to go and visit. Not much more to say about Ekron there. And finally, we have March Ridge, which kind of gets a bit of a tough rap because it's not a fully fledged town. There's no POIs. It's basically military housing. There's a few interesting places. You hear stories of people finding a lot of ammo there from veterans' houses, which could be worth a visit, but without the POIs or interesting look to the town, because it's very cookie cutter. Unless you spawned at Rosewood and you plan on just taking a day trip down to March Ridge to do some looting, there's not much point going to March Ridge, really. But anyway, that'll do it for my list. Appreciate you for watching. Let me know down below if you change anything. I'd love to know your opinions on any of the towns in the game. Again, hope you all had a lovely Christmas or are enjoying the holidays, and I will see you lot in the new year.